So we're going to begin with our first speaker for today, Sande Golgart. Sande is an entrepreneur, philanthropist, and business coach. He helps people not only to overcome their issues that they're facing personally, but also business-wise. Welcome to the stage, Sande.
Thank you so much, Jason. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here. I talk a lot about the art of positive change. In our world, change can get such a bad rap that change is difficult, change is hard. And there is a lot of evidence to the fact that it can be very hard. But I choose to look for, and experience ways to make change easy. And that's where I've dedicated myself to, because I think we all want this to be a better place. We all want to live better lives, but so many of us struggle to find the path for making change easy. And I was been fortunate in my life to go through a lot of great wins, but also significant losses, setbacks, and found myself in a place where I thought change might be almost impossible, or I had reached kind of my full potential, and I wasn't all that impressed. So back in 1990 was probably the best year of my life. I had trained extremely hard. I had this idea that I wanted to experience flying through the air for a brief moment after seeing Dr. J or Julius Erving do it. I did countless exercises to be able to train myself to do that. And in 1990, I was part of a traveling basketball team out of Colorado. We traveled all over the country, ended up winning the national championship. And later that summer in Texas, in Lubbock, Texas, I was fortunate enough, amongst many great competitors, to win the national slam dunk championship. And that was truly a highlight for me. Not only was I able to experience what I had set out to accomplish, but it afforded me the opportunity to sign a full ride scholarship to the University of Colorado, where I started for 4 years, played basketball, signed to go down to Brazil to play professional basketball, when I suddenly blew my knee out. And that to me was a signal that the basketball side of my life was over. Certainly professional basketball was not in the cards, and I was now welcoming the opportunity to go into the business world. And I thought at the time that I had a good formula for getting ahead. I would rely on what I did basketball wise, size up the competition, outwork them, and use that as a means to get ahead. And I did that for 3 decades. I had a pretty decorated career as an executive. I had some incredible wins, some incredible growth. But towards the end, as I really started wanting to accomplish more, I started to press for the change that I thought that I wanted. I wanted to be disruptive. I wanted bigger and better titles. I wanted more money. I wanted all these things, or I thought that I wanted all these things, until a few years back, I ended up in a place that wasn't clear to me how in the world I could have attracted this into my life. I found myself in an executive position as president of a company. It was a division inside a larger company. And in that company, it was just daunting for me to see how bad and toxic the culture was, how manipulation was used regularly to get people to do and force them to do things differently than they wanted to do. I didn't know how I had attracted this into my life, but I realized the harder I was pursuing these things that I thought I wanted, the further away I was getting from what I truly wanted to experience in life. Fortunately, I reached out for some help. I contacted my coach, David Meltzer. I told him what I wanted to accomplish, and it had to do with X amount of millions of dollars, different things I thought that I wanted. And he cautioned me and said, look, we're going to rip that list up. We're going to focus on how you want to experience life, how you want to incorporate easy change into your life and make that better. So I changed my whole dynamic from the things that I thought I wanted to the way I wanted to experience life. And my goal became very simple. I wanted to do what I wanted, when I wanted, with minimal effort. And I felt if I could achieve that freedom and then help others achieve that kind of freedom, life would then be significantly better. And it's really accelerated everything, that I've experienced in my life. So I'm happy to share kind of a little bit more about what I've learned in that journey, what it's taught me, the lessons from failure, and how we use those things to help other people reach a point where they can better experience life, better appreciate, have more gratitude, but use those things to make a big positive difference in the life of others. So really quickly, as it comes to change, some of the statistics, 91% of resolutions fail. So every year we all want to do something better, but yet 91% of those that set a resolution fail. Alarmingly, 23% of those fail in the first week of wanting to get better. 43% then fail before the end of January. These come from the Ohio State University Fisher School of Business. And so I've looked into what makes change so hard. And change is hard because we are forced to do something different. Or change can be very hard because we are forcing ourselves to do something different. And over the time, I've learned that when it is that we're chasing something that we think that we want and we're forcing ourselves to change in accordance of what we think we want, that change becomes very, very difficult, strenuous. And I came across this quote out of all the research that I've done over the past 4 years that I'd love to share with everybody. It's really changed my life. It comes from Rumi. And Rumi said, and I practice this daily, but he said, when I run after what I think I want, my days are a furnace of stress and anxiety. If I sit in my own place of patience, what I need flows to me and without pain. From this, I understand that what I want also wants me, is looking for me, and is attracting me. There's a great secret here for anyone who can grasp this. And as I started to look towards change, the positive change I wanted to make for myself that almost felt impossible, the more I started to realize, the less I started to pursue these things that I wanted to so badly, or thought that I wanted so badly, my life just became that furnace of stress and anxiety. Now that I've learned to sit, quiet my mind, get more in touch with my own unique skills, my own unique talents, and start to use those to intersect with how I can help other people. My daily routine over the last 4 years has become something I can barely fathom and barely recognize. I wake up every day at 5 a.m. I use a half ounce of pink salt mixed with hot water. I do glucosamine, turmeric, MSM. I do 10 minutes of breath work, then 30 minutes of meditation, 30 minutes of learning from a podcast or Mind Valley. Then I take vitamin D. I do black coffee. I ride my bike 3 times a week in a sprint fashion for 60 minutes, do full heart rate recovery before I get back to my house, shower, and get ready for my first call. Then I do intermittent fasting. I do bone broth around 10 a.m., but then I have dedicated focus time for about 2.5 hours before I have a protein bowl for lunch, 30 minutes of meditation to follow, dedicated high productivity throughout the afternoon. And then I'm always decompressing with a walk on the beach, getting outside and listening to an audiobook for about an hour, eat dinner, finish that at 6:30, start intermittent fasting. Then I do a 0-calorie hydration packet with magnesium. Then I do yoga, infrared sauna, and a 3-minute cold tub. All of that has led me to getting much more in tune with my health, not only physical, but mental. Really cleared my mind and given me the ultimate superpower, which is clarity. And when I have that, I know that I can incorporate positive changes. I've tried thousands of things, said no to most of them, or no thank you, but incorporated the ones that work for me and have helped me. And I've been able to launch 2 successful businesses, one on growth consulting for business. We also do leadership coaching. But my most passion project that I'm working on is a company called Lifepeels. Lifepeels helps people identify where they're at, where they want to be in accordance to how they want to be thinking, feeling, and acting in the future. And then we identify the interference between where they're at, where they want to be, and then we work to peel away the layers of interference until they become that which they had intended to be. So what all this has taught me about change is that it doesn't have to be hard. What makes it hard is when we're pursuing things that we think that we want because we're imitating other people, or we're comparing ourselves to others, or we're doing things that others are forcing us to do to become quote unquote better. It is very, very hard. However, the more in touch we get with our true self, change becomes incredibly easy. You know, the universe wants you to be in touch with who your true self is, what your unique talents are. And as you learn to say yes to more and more, try more and more things, say no thank you to the ones that don't stick or don't work for you. Don't judge them, but just say no thank you, and then move on to the ones that do. You can really start to change the trajectory of your life, your ability to help other people. And I've found that to be so true for myself. I would say in summary, the three things that I've learned is that when you're getting more in touch with your true self, closer to who you truly are, who your unique talents are, change becomes easy. And it's easy to incorporate positive change when you are getting more in touch with your true self. When you're chasing things and you're getting further from your true self, change becomes hard. So when you're chasing a body type, or you're chasing money, or you're chasing titles, or these artificial things, change can become really hard. Then the internet and everything else is filled with all of this rhetoric about, well, of course it's hard. It's supposed to be hard. Use your willpower. You know, life's supposed to suck. Just get over it and try, put in more and more effort. So personally, I'm on a quest to help change the world in a very positive way by encouraging people to get better in touch with their true self, help companies realize they can get more by creating alignment with their employees to help the company stay aligned with its true mission, but learn and take the time to get to know employees' true vision, true self, unique talents, incorporate them and create alignment so that we're creating great things in the world based on everyone's unique talents, not trying to force, manipulate, and contrive results that we think that we want at some point in the future. So with that, I do have a couple of tips that I'd love to share with everybody that have worked really well for me. They work exceptionally well with our clients. But the first one is try to think of where you want to be, not in a very short period of time. The data suggests that all of us who want change, we will dramatically overestimate what we can accomplish in 1 year, but dramatically underestimate what we're capable of in 3. The problem is most people try, they set out like a New Year resolution, they want to get better, they don't see the change, or it's too hard, they're going away from their true self, and they quit. Or they get a year in, they didn't accomplish as much as they thought, their mind sets in and says, hey, this is too hard. Let's settle down. Let's start to conserve energy. And then they quit, and they never reach that 3-year point where true transformation helps. So if you can create a 3-year vision of how you want to experience life, not what you think you want, but how you want to be thinking, feeling, and acting in accordance to where you want to be in life, how you want to experience life, the freedoms that you want, and give yourself a 3-year period of time to get there, will make a dramatic difference in your life. The second thing, once you get that ignited vision down on paper, take the time then to write down from your own perspective everything that you think could go wrong. And as you do this, what you're doing is you're putting down the interference that's in your mind down on paper. And when you get the interference written out, you can start to see all of these are the layers that's piled up in my mind, in my heart, and in what I'm doing. And it's influencing the way that I'm approaching life, which is why it's so hard for me to make the progress that I want. And if you can learn to just start stripping away layer by layer, each life peel that you can peel away, you get closer and closer to your true self. you will build an unbelievably compounding, powerful life force that'll help you accomplish anything that you want in this world. And then the last thing is to understand your brain. This one, I think, is one of the more misunderstood things that people try to deal with as they go through creating positive change. But if you understand the way our minds are developed and what they're supposed to do and how they're supposed to serve us, it's a lot easier to understand where all this friction comes from. So our minds and our brains as humans are designed to do three things. Number one is survive. So anything that tells you there could be danger here, your mind triggers a heightened awareness, fight or flight syndrome. Second is it's telling you to conserve your energy. You can see this in nature when you see a deer and it senses that there's danger. Maybe a tiger jumps out, starts chasing it. The deer doesn't just keep running. The deer gets out of harm's way. The moment it senses it's out of harm's way, it immediately stops and tries to get back to zero as quickly as possible, because the mind is telling you, conserve, don't use up too much of your energy. This also shows itself in our lives when that complacency voice comes in and says, hey, why don't we take it a little bit easy? Let's conserve here, not put too much more energy into something. And then the mind is third wired to protect us from pain and discomfort. And when you understand the way the mind is wired and the way our brains are wired, it helps us understand why some of these things, when they start to feel hard, why we want to quit and why we want to conserve, want to survive, and we want to protect ourselves from pain and discomfort. If you're on the wrong path, chasing what it is that you think you want from a construct that came from your past, it's very easy to give into that, to quit and become one of the 91% that fail at incorporating positive change into their life. So as you understand this, you create a vision of 3 years, give yourself the time to make the positive change, and then start to feel and experience the compounding effects of 1% positive change. Amazing things can happen. So we do this through Segue Consulting. We do leadership coaching. We do growth consulting for businesses, helping them identify the layers of interference that are built into their business, from systems to leadership to team to customer readiness. And we help them strip that away. If you'd like any additional information on that, you can find all of my information at sandegolgart.com. You can find me on LinkedIn. I think I'm the only Sande Golgart on LinkedIn, so not too difficult to find. Or you can follow along our story and journey at Sande_Segue on Instagram.